Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Welcome back to another session of Better Out Than In, Real Talk with Kai. First off, please excuse my hair. Started my lock journey January 12th, 2021. And this is what she's doing right now. I get touched up by hair by Taj next week, so next session I should have my hair done, but please excuse the do. Anyway, also, I wanted to give a shout out to my sister-in-law for this shirt that she made for me. It says Just God. Thank you, Ray Ray. I love it. So, for everyone who watched my video last week, thank you so much for joining in on my session. If you didn't catch last week's session, please go back and watch it for me. Share it, subscribe, like, comment. I really appreciate feedback. So this week or today, I'm going to be talking about what I went through once I started high school with my type 1 diabetes, and just how I kind of started telling my friends about it, or what friends I didn't tell about it, and then like when I had a little episode when my blood sugar went low and nobody really knew what to do because I really didn't share how to help me with anybody. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Jamming to a little Sade today, y'all. Was in a good little mood, so. But anyway, so when I started high school, I mentioned in my last video about the insulin pump and that it didn't work for months on top of months on top of months. And that's when I was in high school, my first year of high school in 9th grade. I got that insulin pump because I was playing basketball. It was the easiest way what the doctors thought was the easiest way for me to stay on top of everything with playing sports and being active. But apparently for me it didn't work, and everybody's body is different. But walking around, like I was saying, with that insulin pump, people asking like, oh, is that a pager? The 2-ways. Well, when I was in 9th grade, 2-ways wasn't really in, but they was kind of like fading out. And cell phones was more popular. But people used to think I had a pager, and it was just kind of embarrassing to have to keep explaining like, no, it's for my insulin. They like, what is that? And it's like, oh, for my diabetes. It's like, oh, you can't have sugar. And it was just like a very misunderstood and very ignorant, but not on purpose type of thing, And so it got hard for me because it's like, damn, I hate keep explaining what this is to everybody who sees it. Like everybody asks, and it's just like sitting on your waist belt, like it's clipped on, like how a pager looks. It's clipped on there, and you can't really hide it because it's big enough as a pager, so it's really nowhere else for it to go. Now they have like these little ass pod things that you can like stick on your arm or on your stomach, and literally it's hidden so people can't see it. So that's pretty cool. But back then they didn't have all that. They had these big noticeable things, and yeah. So anyway, when I got in high school, a lot of the people who were in high school with me were also like in elementary and middle school with me. But then once you get in high school, it's a bigger class because it's so many different grades. It's people from different hoods and everything going to one school. And so it's like, okay, it's people I know that already know kind of my situation, and then it's people who don't got no idea who I am or my situation. So again, like I said, I did not want to have an aide in high school, so kind of did this on my own. It wasn't really that hard for me because, like I said, I didn't really do what I was supposed to do. Now if we're looking at it as somebody who's doing what they're supposed to do and on top of their stuff, then it could be, kind of challenging. Especially if you have to, check your sugar before every meal and before lunch, and how comfortable you are doing it in front of people or having to go into the restroom, and having the right cleanliness area to do so and stuff like that. So for me, I really didn't check my blood sugars at school like that. And if I did, like, I had my backpack on my lap or something and try to keep it in my backpack and try to do it like hella secrete, like nobody can see what I'm doing or something, or try to leave out of class before the bell rung so I can sit somewhere before people come. So that's what I used to do. But like it was like a kind of like a secretive thing. Like it was like being, I don't know how to explain it, like hiding something from your parents. Like shit, like I didn't brought puppies home. I tried to hide them in my room without my mom knowing, or you know what I mean, like something like that. Like I feel like I had to hide it from the world. Like I couldn't tell anybody what it was, only because I had a hard time explaining it. And again, that keeps falling back to that uneducated, you know, and not knowing the truth of what the disease is, or how you get it, or what you can and can't eat. Like I did have for a long time this stigma of I'm not supposed to eat sugar, but I still ate it anyway. You know, I see a lot of shows, and you'll see, you know, now it's becoming more popular for people to talk about it on different television shows. And when they're like, oh, I'm type 1 diabetic, so I eat healthy, I don't eat any sugar. It's not that you can't have any sugar being a diabetic. You can have what everybody else eats. It's just you have to count the carbs or take insulin for it. So, that kind of bothers me sometimes, but it is what it is. But anyway, with my insulin pump, I remember, I used to have to take it off when I played basketball. So I used to just take that off before we even got on the court, like in the locker room and stuff. But I had to keep it on the bench just in case something happened. So my coaches knew what to do, but none of my teammates really knew what to do. And I remember one time I was in detention because I was bad as hell. Had detention, and one of my best friends was fit to get into a fight across the street at this park. And everybody came to the detention. It was like, hey, Kaya, such and such fit to get in a fight across the street. They trying to jump her. I'm like, what? And I'm like, man, I got 5 more minutes in this damn detention. I'm like, all right. Do you leave detention and go help your friend get another detention, or you stay these 5 minutes and then don't have no more detention and then go help your partner? So I'm like, damn, what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do? I end up leaving, running across the street, trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. When I go across the street, it's all these girls and their mama trying to fight my friend. I'm like, hell no, y'all not fit to jump her. So I take my insulin pump off, and everybody looking like, what the fuck? This bitch just took something off her body? Like, what is that? Oh, she crazy. What the hell is that? I'm like, I could feel everybody staring at me. But again, like I said, that shit was expensive. It was like $5,000 that moms had to pay out her pocket. You feel what I'm saying? So I knew I couldn't break it. So I was like, let me take it off if I'm going to fight. And I handed it to somebody that I trusted. I'm like, hey, put this in your backpack real quick. And yeah, that was crazy. That day was crazy. But I just remember all the people, you know how people gather around for fights. They all looking like, what the fuck is that? Like, she just disconnected something from her body? Like, oh, hell no. So people was kind of like spooked, but I wasn't tripping. I'm like, I'm fit to help my friend. Then after everything was over, everybody's like, what is that? What you took off your body? What was that? And they were just like, nah, nothing. So the next day, everybody's still asking like, what the hell was that? And I'm like, insulin pump, they do this and do that, you know, and just kind of irritated that I gotta explain it. And that's pretty much the whole time in high school, from my first year when I had the insulin pump before I stopped working. So that was the insulin pump. So then when I found out, like I said, it wasn't working in my last session, I said it wasn't working for months on top of months on top of months, and the doctors found out, then they took it away. I went back to doing the injections with the needle and the syringe and the vials of insulin. I had to go back to that, which was a little annoying, but it was what it was because the pump wasn't working, and I wasn't trying to have my mom spend all that money again when I knew I wasn't even using it right. You feel what I'm saying? So I just made it seem like it was just a hassle to do it. And so I had to go back to the injections. But, everything worked out for the most part. I mean, I started doing it a little bit. My grandmother had passed. Then I kind of plummeted again. I stopped doing what I was supposed to do. That was like my backbone. Like I said, my mom's worked a lot. She had me. My brothers was doing what they was doing, and what I'm saying, if y'all know me, then y'all know my family history, and y'all know about my brothers. And moms had to do what she had to do. When my brother, couldn't help take care of me no more because they was in a situation, then moms had to do what she had to do, and I was trying not to be, that much of a burden. So, yeah, I just kind of stayed to myself, and my grandma was that person for me, So when she died, it got a little tough. It got a little tough mentally, more so than it was before. And when somebody passed away that you care about, and you have those thoughts of guilt and I wish I could have done this, or I wish I would have did this more. I wish I would have asked more questions. I went through all of that, and so it took a real toll on me with my diabetes, and I used that to abuse myself in a sense, to kind of aid of that guilt that I was feeling, and that loneliness, of losing my grandmother. I was using that as a form to self-medicate. People use drugs, people use alcohol, weed. That was my way of doing it, and which was wrong, but yeah, so it got real tough. It got real tough for me, and I was going through up and downs with my blood sugars and stuff. And like I said, I didn't really tell a lot of my friends like how to help me if something happened to me. Like if my blood sugar went too low, I didn't really tell them what to do. And so one time I was kicking it with some friends, and we was at this little house party or whatever. We kicking it, and my blood sugar went low. Like I needed something to eat, or a soda, candy, something. And when my sugar get low, I can't really think straight sometimes. Like my mind get a little flustered, or I kind of start shutting down. Like I get sweaty, I get my speech start to change a little bit depending on how low my blood sugar is. The motor skills just slow down. And so at that time, I didn't even think to check my blood sugar, of course. That was lasting from my mind. And so we sitting there on the couch, and I feel my blood sugar dropping, but I'm nervous to tell somebody that I need help, because I ain't never been a person to ask for help. Like, I just wanted to get up and go get it myself. But at that point, my blood sugar was just too low. And I was just sitting there, and my partner was like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just loaded." Of course, I was smoking some weed, probably hitting a drink. My bad, mama. But yeah. And my partner was like, you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm straight. Knowing damn well I wasn't. But I just couldn't say nothing. And I didn't want them to judge me because it was some people there that I didn't really know like that. So I was like, fuck, what I'm fit to do? Fuck, what I'm fit to do? So for like 10 minutes, I sit there and I'm like damn near fit to pass out because my sugar hella low. And my partner was like, hey, you want something to drink? I'm like, yeah, you got some soda or some juice or something? I'm like, hell yeah, my mouth cotton. And she was like, yeah, we got some orange juice. I'm like, hell yeah, let me get some of that. And man, I'm just so happy she asked me if I wanted something to drink. And I played it off like my mouth was cotton from the weed. And man, that juice saved my life. I wrote that shit down so fast. She was like, you was hella thirsty. You want some more? I'm like, yeah, let me get another cup. But that's really because my sugar was low. And I was trying to hurry up and boost it back up so I can start, becoming to myself again. And so like a couple of days after the party passed, me and my partner was on the phone. I'm like, hey, you remember that other day we was at the party? And I was sitting there tripping on the couch. She was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, my sugar was low. She was like, why you didn't say nothing? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know how to say nothing. And she was like, man, what I supposed to do when that happened? Like, what I supposed to look for? And when she asked me that, I told her, I'm like, man, like, if I look like I look confused, or I start just sweating out of nowhere, or if I look like, I'm usually very in tune with everything that's going on, and kind of just scoping out everything. So if I look lost, just hit me up, ask me if everything cool, because sometimes I don't say nothing. So after we had this whole conversation, after that, I felt comfortable going out with this person because they always be looking at me every time they want me straight. I'm like, yeah, I told you what to look for. I don't know, I'm just making sure. And shit was funny, but I appreciated it, because it was love. But then, you got some friends who not even really your friend, like, and you could tell if people really give a fuck or not, because, like, I tell somebody I hang out with, I got diabetes, they be like, oh, okay. Like, if they don't ask no questions, like, oh, what is that? Like, what you mean? Like, dang, like, if they not interested, or if they don't show no type of interest of, like, what do I supposed to do? Or what do you do when you, like, if they don't ask no type of questions like that, then they not cool for you to hang around, because what if something happened to you? You know what I'm saying? And I didn't really put that together. Like, I was hanging around a whole bunch of cats, but I didn't really put that together until that one incident. I'm like, damn. So when I started kind of feeling a little comfortable telling people, I got diabetes, and I peep, like, who would be like, oh, damn, like, oh, my mom's got that, or my granny got that. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like, you got to do this, or you can't have that. Then that's when I knew. I'm like, all right, it's cool to kick with this person. You know what I'm saying? But if they ain't asking, they like, oh, okay. Like, just like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm cool off you. Because you don't really got my back. You know what I'm saying? Something happened to me. And ain't no point of me wasting my time telling you how to help me if you ain't even interested in me telling you that I got it. You don't ask no questions. You know what I'm saying? So that was a learning experience for me, for sure. And that one time right there got me a little more comfortable telling people about my diabetes, because at first I never really said nothing, but then after that I got a little more comfortable telling people about my diabetes. And so yeah, so if you know somebody who got diabetes, asking questions is okay. It might be a little uncomfortable at first for both of y'all, only because you don't want to say the wrong thing to them, or offend them in no type of way, or and the other person might feel just a little uncomfortable with you asking, but I think it'll register for them, like, damn, yeah, I'm gonna tell them because they care enough to ask. Like, I got some coworkers, like, they know I got diabetes, But you know, a lot of times I don't think they think about it, but they'll be eating something and they'll be like, damn, there's a whole bunch of diabetes. And it's like, whoa, like, now I don't get offended by it because, you know, people are ignorant to the fact of what diabetes is, how you get it, all that, which I understand. So I'm not really tripping. But back when I was younger, that shit used to bother me. I'd be like, damn, what the fuck you mean by that? Like, I used to be bothered when people say shit like that. But again, it's just the unknowing of what it is or how you get it and shit like that. So, but sometimes stuff like that, people be scared to ask or to say things because they don't know how to say it in the right way. And so, you know, when you're talking to people, just try to be mindful of how you ask questions. But, you know, if you're really curious and it's a genuine type of relationship you have with the person who has diabetes, you know, I don't think it will be a bad conversation or anything wrong with asking questions. You know, if anything, I think it'll make them feel more comfortable with starting to tell people. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, younger kids or, you know, young adults. It's hard for us to transition into, you know, being in high school, dating people, you know, going to those parties and hanging out and just trying to feel normal when we know we're different, you know, and it's okay to accept being different. And so that's what, you know, hopefully I can get across to some people. You know, we're different, but we're unique, and it's okay, you know, and people accept that. And yeah, so next week, what I'm thinking about is possibly bringing on, you know, my honey bun to kind of just talk about when we started dating, and how he felt about dating somebody with diabetes, and then we'll go from there, and then hopefully, you know, I can keep coming up with some content for my sessions, and bring more people on, talk about things. Hopefully people will start giving me some feedback and some comments. Until then, keep liking, following, subscribing, sharing. God bless.